Here we go. Starting from the top. Are we ready?
Hold on.
Is that good? Okay. Couple things to know, a couple things to remember. That when you, next to a number, whenever you see a number, if you see a quotation mark instead of just an apostrophe. But if you see a quotation mark means what? Starts with an I. Inches. What does an apostrophe mean? Starts with an F. Feet. Exactly right. Who said Mr. Keenan? Who needs one? What? You have paper? Good. Thank you for advocating yourself. Excellent example. If you guys don't have something or need something, interrupt me and make sure you have it. So in that binder, even though it says 7th grade, grab the top sheet. If anybody doesn't have one of these sheets, grab one. So you have it. And when you get it, where it says checked by right here, make sure you put your name where it says checked by, because you're the people that are measuring these or the people that did measure these. There we go. And then you can also put it on the other side on the front, which I'll show you in a sec. But 5 inches is the very top. As we move down, 2 1/8. 2 1/8. Because I know people, which is totally okay. Does anybody else need a pencil, by the way? Okay. My desk is a big bundle of pencils. Grab them. Grab one that's sharp so we don't have to have the pencil sharpener running right now. If you do need to sharpen your pencil, go to the other room to sharpen it. There's a big bundle, right? I can see it from here. Got it. Yep, use that. Don't worry about erasing because you're not going to make a mistake. And if you do, you'll just cross it out. But hustle. Let's get going. I'm trying to go. I want to have fun, but I'm also trying to go. No, don't change the subject, because you're my favorite subject. Huh? Kiana, do you have one? Huh? All you literally have to do is write down numbers, and you'll get 100% on this activity. Literally, all you have to do is write down numbers. Raise your hand if you think you can write down numbers as we go through them. Raise your hand if you think you can do that. If you can do that, guess what? You're going to get an A on this, and you'll keep an A in class. It's seriously not complicated just to write down numbers. I'm giving you another shot. Go grab one. Hurry, hurry, hurry. And I gave you one yesterday. I know you have one. But here we go. 5 inches. 2 1/8. And then on the other side, we have 2 1/8. Why do we have 2 1/8 on each side of that? Why do you think that is? Yes, equal. What do we call that? It starts with an S. Symmetry. We want it to be symmetrical. A lot of things that we do when it comes to, like, if I think of the footstool, for example, one of the specific categories that we evaluate when we're evaluating the footstool is, did you center the footstool top on the footstool base? So symmetry is one thing that we will be covering, and we have 2 1/8, 2 1/8. The gap inside that, inside the two short pieces is, by the way, I should probably have it up like this so that way I can talk about things right as we're going through them. But, so 2 1/8, 2 1/8, the gap in between the two short sides that we have up there is going to be 3/4 of an inch. If you put 6/8, would you be wrong? If you put 6/8 and it's 3/4, would you be wrong? No. If you put 12/16, would you be wrong? No, you wouldn't. 12/16 is the same thing as 6/8. 6/8 is the same thing as 3/4. What's the difference between those three fractions? Some are not simplified. What's the easiest way to know if a fraction needs to be simplified? If the top number can be what? Divided by 2. Because the type of fractions that we use, all of the bottom numbers can be divided by 2. So we're going to only need to look at the top number. If the top number is even, it can be divided by 2. So if you have 12/16, 12 divided by 2 is what? 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay, so now we have 6/8. Can 6 be divided by 2? Yep. 6 divided by 2? 8 divided by 2? There you are. Okay, the next measurement is going to account for how deep we drill this hole. So if you were to measure, is there freaking tape on there? Why is it sticking? No, my daughter got sticky stuff up here. Okay, but we're going to drill that down 2 1/8. This is actually the second step that we do after we cut it. We're going to drill a hole down 2 1/8, drill a hole down 2 1/8. Okay? Excuse me, back that up. I said the wrong thing. We're going to drill a hole down 1 5/8. Drill a hole down 1 5/8. 1 5/8. Don't write 2 1/8. It's 1 5/8. I don't know why I said that. Well, I was looking at the other one, but whatever. Here we go. Do you notice on the upper corner up here, it says there's a little R. What do you think that R stands for? Rounded is similar. It's half of what we call a diameter. Radius. So this means that there's a radius of 1/8 of an inch. If you look at router bits, they're going to be based off of a radius. So basically half of a circle to get that curve. And we're going to have a radius of 1/8 of an inch on that. That's the last step that we do. We will route all of the outside edges of them, and we'll have that. Okay, going down to the bottom, I want to cover that up first. Whenever you see a circle with a line drawn through it, that means diameter. That's the same thing as saying diameter. The diameter of this circle is 3/8 of an inch. How do we measure the diameter? What are we measuring? The distance across the circle. Exactly correct, Christopher. If our part is exactly 5 inches long, our finished part, and we want the circle to be in the dead center of that 5 inches, what should this measurement be where my finger is on top of right now? If it needs to be in the dead center, we're exactly 5 inches. What's dead center of 5 inches, or what's halfway between 5 inches and 0? 2.5. There we go. Okay? If I shift this over, farthest distance first. We always look at the farthest distance before when we're looking at a part. So from the top to bottom is 1.5 inches. The distance from the bottom of the part to the center of the part is 3/8 of an inch. 3 divided by 8. I want you to pay attention to this part right here. Every single piece that we will create in the shop will need to have a hole drilled into it. And how you make a center of a hole is you're going to make a little crosshairs like this. Don't try to make a little circle. The intersection of where those two lines cross is where you're going to be putting the tip of that drill. Okay? Everybody with me so far? Shift it over. So, give me un momento. Ender Granger left his piece here. Oh, by the way, please don't do this. Please, 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 please don't put your evaluation onto your part looking like a pile of junk and like all sloppy. And it's not about aesthetics for me. It's about function. I honestly could care what things look like. You ever seen my truck? I don't care what things look like. But it's true, isn't it, Tatiana? I care about function. Tatiana, you've ridden in my truck several times because my daughter used to go to your mom's daycare. Does my truck work? Then who cares what it looks like, right? That's what I say. I guess I do. I do kind of care what it looks like. Like when I got to take Tatiana there and she opens the door and some trash falls out, I feel super bad and sad about that. And like mad at myself kind of. But that's another story. Mental health. Here we go. So when you're looking at these parts, when you're looking at these prints, every single print, as I said, like if you're in branding manufacturing, the prints are gonna look exactly like this. If you compare the top view, the front view, and the right side view, this technically is the right side view. But if you look at all these, Braylon, have a seat right here, bud, so you can be front row seat right here.
Actually, I'm just checking in.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks,
Why
bud.
do you vote candy?
Because everybody worked hard yesterday, but you weren't here. You can have a mint. Have a mint. You want a mint?
Never Starburst.
You get 1 Starburst, yep. Okay. So, of these three, top view, front view, right side view, which is going to show the most detail? Which one do you see shows the most detail? Top view, front view, right side view. Which shows the most detail?
What's the difference between these?
One's peppermint, one's spearmint. What has the most detail? Top view, front view, right side view? Front view will always have. So the view that's always going to be in the lower left corner will always have the most detail. So here's basically how this works. So your front view is going to look like this. Your top view is just taking the part and flipping it up like this, setting it here. So if you look at like the solid lines, if you look at the solid lines there, the solid line here, that's where that solid line is, that's where that solid line is. Do you see this dotted line right here? If I rotate this up like this, what is this dotted line depicting right here? The hole drilled through the part. What are these dotted lines right here depicting? if I push this in, the hole's drilled in there. So the dotted lines are actually called hidden lines. They're lines that are there that you can't see from the outside of the object. Basically, they're lines that are inside the object that you can't see. So we have the top view, we have the front view. And the right side view, realistically, the true right side view is looking at it from this angle right here. The reason we have this section, reason why we have a second view that looks like the right side view, is because if you were to take a saw and cut this right here, if you were to take a saw and cut this right here, that's what it would look like if you were to open this up. So that's where this comes from. Everybody understand that? Okay, so now finishing this up. Again, we have that radius of 1/8 of an inch. That just means that we're not only going to be using a rounded edge. Whoops, I should probably put it down here so you can see. We're going to be using a rounded edge from here, and this surface right here. So if you look at it from this angle, instead of being a square, instead of being a perfect square all the way around, we've rounded the edges to take sharp corner off. We're 3/4 of an inch wide. The center gap here drops down 3/4 of an inch. The center of this hole is 3/8 of an inch from the top down, and 3/8 of an inch from either side. It's 3/8 of an inch. Okay? Does everyone have all of this stuff filled out? Give me a thumbs up if you have a pretty good idea of what all this means right now. Give me a thumbs up if you have a pretty good idea. You might not know how to get there, but you have a pretty good idea. Okay? We're going to flip it over. Okay, I'm going to put this just like this. Okay, so this front side, don't worry about the ruler on top. The front side, don't worry about the ruler on top. We will get into that, but don't worry about that. This is from an old portion. I just didn't feel like redoing this whole sheet. But here we go. Overall length, width, and height of the part. We can look at the back side and we can tell, it will tell us exactly what that is. Let's bring this way just a little bit so I can bring there. Can I still see it? No, I need to go a little higher. Down like this. This freaking document camera is so awesome. Do you guys know that this was just sitting in the eighth grade storage cabinet for like a lot of years before I picked it up? This is a brand new camera before I started using it. Okay, but it's actually a couple years old, but it's brand new. Okay, if that makes sense. So, overall length is 5 inches. Height is 1.5 inches. Width is 3/4 of an inch. I'm just going to try to run through this quick because I'm probably talking more than I should, like always, but we're going to continue rolling forward. Okay, overall length, width, and height. 5 inches, 1.5 inches for height, 3/4 of an inch for width. Everybody good? Diameter of the hole. What is the diameter of the hole that we drilled through the part and into the part? So the diameter of this hole right here and the diameter of the hole that gets drilled into the part. Do you remember what the diameter was? 3/8 of an inch. Where can we find the diameter of these holes or the size of these holes? We actually already know it and we already found it. Where can we find the diameter of this hole right here, the one that we drill in? You wrote it down. From this right side view, this part right here tells you what that size of that hole that got bored out is right there. Okay? Diameter of the hole is 3/8 of an inch. Now the next several questions, because the next several questions is if you look at your sheet, questions 3 through 7, and there's multiple parts to a few of those or just one of those. But parts 3 through 7 is going to be the largest chunk of this, and all of it comes from the front view because the front view shows the most what? Detail. Exactly right. Something I've already covered. So let's flip it over so we can see it. There we go, Keenan. So what is if we measure along either edge of the front view, either edge of the front view, the distance from the edge of the part to the gap, what did we say that one was? 2 1/8, yep. How wide is that gap in the middle? 3/4 of an inch. The location of the hole that's below the gap, from the edge of the part to the center of the hole is what? 2.5. You guys can just shout them out if you know it. So the edge of the part to the center of the gap is 2.5. From the bottom of the part to the center of the hole is what?
3.
Whoops. Yep, 3/8. Right here is 3/8. And then I'll take the sheet off after this. So the depth of this hole, the hole that we drill out from the edge of the gap to the depth of this, what did we say this one was? 1 5/8. Yep. I'll pull this off, and we'll leave it just like this for right now. And then we'll finish this up. So the next two answers that you're going to write on there are going to be 3/4 of an inch and 3/4 of an inch, and then 3/8 of an inch and 3/8 of an inch. Where do we get that? The width of this, the depth of this hole. So the width of this is 3/4. The depth of the center gap is 3/4 of an inch. The center location of this circle is 3/8 of an inch from the edge and 3/8 of an inch from the edge. Okay. Does anybody need me to go over it? Did you guys miss any of those? Which one did you miss, Torin? Number and a letter, maybe, because most of them have numbers and letters. So 5 inches, 1.5 inches, 3/4, 3/8 of an inch, 2 1/8, 3/4, 2 1/2, 3/8, 1 5/8, 3/4, 3/4, 3/8, 3/8. Got it? Okay. Now, in this bottom corner right here, where my hand is, I want you to write dividing, I want you to write this down because I'm going to teach you a quick trick that we're going to use a lot of times in the shop because a lot of the, if you look at the paper towel holder, if you look at, literally there's every single project you have to do this on. You have to find the center location of at least one of the boards as you are working with it. So dividing fractions in half or by 2 is what we're going to talk about down here. Okay? There's a very simple rule when it comes to this, and I'll have you write the rule down at the bottom of this after we go through these short little fractions. Okay? So dividing fractions in half or by 2, it's a very simple process. The top number will stay the same and gets transferred over if we're dividing fraction by 2. The bottom number is just going to simply double. So half of 3/4, if we did half of 3/4, 3 gets transferred over to the top number. The bottom number is going to double. So half of 3/4, what's 4 times 2? Yep, half of 3/4 is 3/8. If we were to take that same idea, half of 3/4 is 3/8, what's half of 3/8? Top number stays the same, bottom number doubles. 3/16 it should be. If we got 3/16, what's half of 3/16? 3/32. Okay? Bottom number doubles, top number stays the same when we're dividing fractions by 2. Okay? That's something to remember, a very simple rule about dividing fractions by 2. Top number stays the same, bottom number is going to double. In terms of my pacing, on a scale of 5 being really good, I like it, 0 being it was either too fast or too slow, give me a scale of 1 to 5. How was my speed or pacing as I was going over the sheet? Give me a scale of 5 being it was good, I liked it, 0 being it was either too slow or too fast or somewhere in the middle. What do you guys think? I'm just kind of taking a poll right now. Okay. All right. So make sure your name is on this. Make sure your name is on this. You will likely be referencing these because I don't necessarily have a direction sheet for the spinning puzzle. And it's sort of that way for a reason. So it forces you to have to communicate with me. And so we have this to reference when you guys cut something, if it's not what I tell you, as long as it's longer than what it says on the print when you're going through the process, that's the biggest portion of it. Did anybody need to see either side before I go to the next thing? Bigo, what you need?
I missed a couple of measurements
on the right side view. So we have 3/4 on top, 3/8. Then we have 3/4 on the outside, and then 3/8 again. And then our diameter of our hole, remember we said the line with the circle through it means diameter. It's 3/8 of an inch. And we have a radius of 1/8 of an inch. Thank you for letting me know. If you guys miss something or if you don't understand something, the ball's in your court to respond and let me know so I can help you. Okay? Even though we haven't started the measurement unit packet yet, I still believe we have a good chance of getting that finished tomorrow. That's how much confidence I have in you guys and what we're about to do and what I have prepared for you. Okay? Here's what you're going to do. You're going to come up here. You're going to show me that you filled your sheet out. And